Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three with the Studio C band. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three, and welcome to the United Kingdom. Today, we kick off our 4-part series where we are taking you to all the countries in the UK over the next 4 weeks to see what God is doing here, body, mind, and spirit. We're looking for unique angles and stories in each region of this incredibly rich historic society. And we're going to first explore England, then Wales, then Ireland, and then Scotland. It just so happens that my husband, Chris, and I are celebrating our 35th anniversary this month. And so, since we absolutely adore visiting the UK together, I brought him along, and so you're going to see him some too. Today, we begin in England. Specifically, we are here outside of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. With its world-famous dome, it is one of the most iconic parts of London's skyline. Its dome is the second largest in the whole world, and it is 366 feet high. Its cathedral has been destroyed 4 times in history, and this current one, designed by England's most famous architect, Christopher Wren, has weathered 3 centuries. Wow. Church number 1 was built in 604 AD, and it was dedicated to St. Paul. It was a modest wooden building established by a king from Kent and was home of the Bishop of East Saxon, although it was repeatedly destructed and damaged. Well, it was finally destroyed by a fire, and then church number 2 was rebuilt in 675 AD, a project which took a full 10 years. But then the Viking invasions happened in 962, and you can guess what happened. So church number 3 was built in the same year, burned down once again, and church number 4 was built in 1087. And this time, the style of architecture changed from Romanesque to Gothic. The cathedral choir at the very top was the first thing to be completed in 1148, allowing the cathedral to return to its normal function as a place of worship. The edifice took 150 years to be complete, with final touches complete in 1240. Now, the cathedral became the 3rd longest in Europe at 596 feet. And the new Gothic choir was added in 1313 when the spire was completed the next year. St. Paul then came the tallest church in Europe at that time with a height of 489 feet. So between the choir and the spire, as you can tell from the tours, there's no other place like this in all of Europe. The centuries rolled on, and decay began to set in. And lightning destroyed the spire in 1561. Now, the church fell into a serious state of disrepair in the Civil War, and the Great Fire of London then happened, and it just destroyed the entire cathedral. So the decision was made to build a new one. It took Sir Christopher Wren, the architect of Britain, 9 more years just to draw up the plans, and St. Paul's was commenced. It was completed by Parliament and officially declared so on Christmas Day. This 15-year restoration project began with extensive lead and copper and slate renovations, which then finally was completed in 2011. Well, today, people from all over the world come to enjoy the impressive interior and to climb up to the dome via the 528 steps to the top, which I have climbed. Have you? Well, this city and this country is full of architectural stories like this one, where the old was put off and the new was put on. It's almost like a theme, and I guess you can't have a city this old without constantly being in the process of restoration somewhere. And since scaffolding is everywhere in this city, it brought to mind how we as people are always in process too, and in the process of putting off the old and putting on the new. Speaking of St. Paul, Paul said in Ephesians 4:22 and 24, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and its corrupt and deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. Now let's go take at another famous London cathedral that has also seen its fair share of renovations. Let's go. Westminster Abbey is a London cathedral that is iconic as being the site of all national coronations and other ceremonies of significance, such as weddings and funerals. It actually is on the grounds of a former Benedictine monastery and is just west of the Houses of Parliament in the Greater London Borough of Westminster. Except for Edward V and Edward VIII, who were never crowned, every British sovereign has been crowned in the Abbey since William the Conqueror. The Abbey also has a long tradition of royal weddings, and you may recognize it as the wedding site of Prince William and Catherine Middleton in 2011. But its first wedding was in the year 1100 when King Henry I married Matilda of Scotland. Like St. Paul's Cathedral, this church too has taken off the old and put on the new multiple times. The story goes that Sebert, the first Christian king of the East Saxons, planted a church on a small island in the River Thames, then known as Thorney, but later called the Westminster or Monastery. Well, it was remodeled and enlarged by St. Dunstan of Canterbury in about 960 AD. And then Edward the Confessor built a new church on the site, which was consecrated in about 1065 AD. It was massive. But then in 1245, Henry III pulled down all of Edward's church, except for the nave, and replaced it with the present Abbey Church. And the design was actually strongly influenced by contemporary French architecture, so I'm told. But the rebuilding of the Norman style in the nave, it began about 1300, and it continued really until Tudor times. And then in 1503, Henry VII began work on his very own chapel here. The Western Towers were the very final addition to the building and were finally completed about 1745. The choir stalls, they date from about 1847, and the altar and the rivetos were actually remodeled in 1867. The facade was restored in the 1880s, but then guess what came? World War II. Still, the Abbey survived, even though it was heavily damaged in all of the air bombings, but it was restored soon after the war. But that just leads me to ask, what about you? And what about the structure of your life? You've been through wars, yes. But what do people see when they look at you today? Do they see all the demolition and debris? Do they see the rubble and repairs? Or do they see a strong edifice with a hope and a future? Well, like St. Paul's Cathedral and like Westminster Abbey, you must learn to take off the old and when to put on the new. If you will do that, my friend, you will never live the same day twice, because every day will be brand new. Don't go anywhere, because right after the break, we're going to take you along on one of our favorite traditions whenever we are in London, and you're going to get a good chuckle out of it, trust me. Stay close. Back with more of The Three in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Laura Harris-Smith, inventor of Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend. You know, if you would have told me 2 years ago when I was mixing that very first little bottle that we would have thousands of customers from all over the world and that we'd have to quadruple our staff to keep up with the demand produced by our international TV infomercial, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And if you told me I'd be hearing regular testimonies of improved sleep, reduced stress, migraine relief, even help with other neurological challenges like seizures, PTSD, tremors, muscle spasms, even anxiety, well, I probably would have cried. And sometimes when I'm reading a Quiet Brain testimony, I do. But if you would have told me 1 year ago when we introduced our Quiet Brain Variety gift box that it would become the biggest selling item on our online store at quietbrainoil.com, I would have said, I believe it. The reason is because I created the gift box to be the perfect combination of all of our Quiet Brain products. The oil itself for topical use on the skin that contains only certified pure oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier and bring speedy relief and neurological support. And our aromatherapy line with our Quiet Brain shampoo and conditioner, candles, inhalers, all of which use the nasal passages to gain direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. So whether you need to use Quiet Brain topically or aromatherapeutically, the Quiet Brain gift box has everything that you need. And now we've given our gift box an upgrade without increasing the price. It now comes with our satin Quiet Brain Sleep Eye Mask. Just put a few drops of oil on the nose guard and you're on your way to enjoying a good night's sleep. And it all comes packaged in a beautiful gift box and delivered to the destination of your choice, or sent to you so you can use it for 7 different gifts or keep a few for yourself. When sold separately, the items in the box are $160, but you're getting it for $135. That's a $25 savings, meaning that you're getting the nasal inhaler and the shampoo and conditioner for free. The Quiet Brain gift box comes with 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight diffuser with 16 color options and intermittent mist options, 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain, 1 Quiet Brain nasal inhaler, 1 Quiet Brain candle, the satin sleep eye mask, and your healing shampoo and conditioner. And remember, both are color safe, aloe enriched, paraben and sulfate free, loaded with wonderful ingredients like unscented coconut oil, olive oil, sugar beet betaine, and of course the Quiet Brain blend with its 8 essential oils like lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more. We get repeated testimonies of both being used with great effectiveness during headaches for pain relief. So go to quietbrainoil.com to order. Quiet Brain is a great gift for any time of the year, but especially for seasons like these that bring additional stress. Give the gift of health and peace this year. Give the gift of Quiet Brain.
England is my and my husband Chris's favorite vacation spot, or as they call it here, holiday. And we usually come here on anniversaries that are divisible by 5. Well, this week it is our 35th wedding anniversary, and so happy anniversary to us, 6 kids and 10 grandkids later. We've spent this entire episode of The Three talking about what happens when you take off the old and put on the new. But each time Chris and I come to London, we have a tradition that is somewhat the opposite, and it involves taking off the new and putting on the old. Me reading my latest book to Chris. Get well soon. This is us lounging around, you know, like we do every night at home. This is of us dancing. Wonderful. But I gotta tell you, the best picture that you need to see is this one right here. This was our photographer. His name is Mito. And after we took our pictures, he started asking us, how old are you? And we told him that between the two of us, we were well over 100 years old. And he said, you have 6 children? You have 10 grandchildren? No way, no way. And the most beautiful thing happened. We shared with him from Psalm 103 about how God renews your youth like the eagles. And we asked him, we said that we pray that, and we asked him if he had ever prayed that. And then my husband, Chris, began to share the gospel with him. And he said he felt the Holy Spirit come upon him. He didn't know what to call it. We told him what was happening, and then he wanted to pray with us. He allowed us to pray with him, and he asked Christ to come into his heart and into his life. And he took off the old flesh, and he put on the new. And he had just had a heart attack, and he actually believed that he experienced a healing. His whole body, he began to feel it first in his left arm. It was tingling, and then he just began to feel better. And so what a night. We thought we were going in to get pictures made, and instead we made a memory and gained a brother eternally. What a blessing. Wait, this is the nice man who carried my luggage when I got off the wrong train. What is your name?
Stephen.
Stephen.
And Laura.
Your wife's name is Laura?
Laura.
My name is Laura.
Wait a minute.
Where is she?
She's gone already.
She's gone already. Well, tell Laura thank you.
Let's just get a clap on that quick. Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless you. Bye. Oh.
Yeah, send him down to the westbound. His wife's waiting for him, over. Is this your husband now?
Sorry I deserted you. This guy's my hero. He helped me find you.
Appreciate your help.
Always so excited to come back to London to see my friend, Maria Rodriguez. She is a presenter, a radio host for Premier Christian Radio. She's had me on as a guest in the past, and now I get to go in today and talk with her along with my husband, Chris. She wanted to interview both of us and talk about our 35-year marriage, but also I'm going to be talking about my new book, Get Well Soon. Come in and let's listen.
Welcome to the show, guys. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Maria.
It's good to see you again.
Great to see you.
Welcome to London.
Our city, our home away from home.
Oh, it's brilliant to have you guys here and to hear something of your journey and your story. And what a story you guys have. God has taken you all over the place. So, Laura, let's start off with you. When you guys got married, how many children did you plan on having?
I really didn't think about it. To be honest, I really did not. And then I guess it was at your 50th birthday party 6 years ago.
Ooh,
one of his best friends at the time told him that they came to my high school talent show. This would have been in 1983. And that in the parking lot afterwards, Chris said, I'm going to marry that girl and have 6 children.
Oh.
So he told me this literally 6 years ago, and our youngest just went to college. So I didn't know, but he seemed to.
Yeah. So, Chris, I want to hear your version of the story. How did you meet Laura?
I met Laura at a shopping mall buying jeans. Mm-hmm. And I was in college at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, and it was photo picture day for the ID card. And I realized when I got there that I had a University of California in Los Angeles t-shirt on for a Belmont University registration photo. So I thought, I need to go get some clothes. So my brother and I left campus. We went to a shopping mall, and this beautiful gal was there to help us buy jeans, and we both were after her. And neither of us knew it.
And I was barely 17. It was August 25th, 1982, and I wasn't even supposed to be working that Wednesday. And so, yes, they both came in. They both went into separate dressing rooms. I was going to make a sale. They both went in, and then the one came out. His brother came out and asked me out. And I showed him, and I don't know how they do it here, but in America, you wear your boyfriend's class ring, and it's huge stone. And so you've got yarn wrapped around the back of it. This is before sizers. And so I just kind of held my finger up. Sorry, I'm dating someone. And then he goes in the dressing room, and then Chris comes out and asks me out as well. And by this point, I determined they were brothers, and I said, no way. And for 6 months, I told him no.
So for 6 months, you kept coming back to buy more clothes.
My brother gave up, and I persisted for 4 more months. And finally, it was in January of 1983.
Yes.
And I said, so every time I went in, I'd buy something, and I'd say, so when are we going to go out? And she would, she'd hold her finger up with the big ring on it. But this time she said, she just flipped my receipt over, and she wrote her phone number.
Well, the guy dumped me. And so it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So this time I did. I turned his receipt over and wrote my number, or I wrote my father's landline. I was still living at home, you know. So.
So my big question then, if you guys are kind of working together, doing family together, how, Chris, do you manage then to have boundaries and switch off so you're not kind of lying in bed at night and chatting about church?
The truth comes out.
We just had this conversation.
We do. Laura and I thank the Lord for this, because He knew literally that we would complete each other. Her strengths are my weaknesses, and my strengths are her weaknesses. So we really do complete each other in our marriage, and because of that, we both have very similar passions. We have a passion for local church leadership. We have a passion for media. And all of those things, when you're passionate about the things that God has placed on your hearts, you never work a day of your life. Mm-hmm. We're here in the UK. Most of our congregation are saying, you guys need to get away and have some vacation time at your anniversary. We're having a blast.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing ministry. We had
day.
the opportunity to lead a young man to the Lord on the streets of London last week while we were here. And it just flows. It's a natural flowing of the Lord out of our lives. So it never feels like we're working. But I know we constantly are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? We play hard, too.
Next up on The Three, Laura preaches at Rhema Faith Church in Wolverhampton, England.
Hi, Laura Harris Smith here, and you know by now that it's a passion of mine to see people get healthy body, mind, and spirit. As a nutritionist and as someone who almost lost her life due to a lack of proper sleep, I'm convinced that sleep is the most important but the least emphasized puzzle piece for total body health. I created my Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend to offer support to sufferers of migraine, tremor, PTSD, anxiety, seizures, and more. But one of the most frequent testimonies we get from all over the world is that it helps with insomnia. People are sleeping better with Quiet Brain. But my other passion is helping people hear God's voice, not just during the day while awake, but also at night while they sleep and dream. And that's why I wrote Seeing the Voice of God, what God is telling you through dreams and visions. And now my two worlds, that is author and inventor, really come together on this topic of sleep and dreams through my Sweet Dreams package. You get one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain, which is comprised of lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more, and a copy of Seeing the Voice of God, complete with a 1,000 symbol dream dictionary for interpreting your dreams, and instructions on which vitamins and minerals to help you better remember your dreams. Sleep is the mattress of dreams, so grab this offer while it's still available. One copy of Seeing the Voice of God and one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain for easy application. And, while supplies last, a free Quiet Brain satin sleep eye mask. So take back your sleep with Quiet Brain and take back your dreams with Seeing the Voice of God. Order today at quietbrainoil.com.
Ephesians 4:22 through 24. Oh, I love this. It says, you were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, and to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and in holiness. To put off the old self and to put on the new self. What does that mean to you? When I say that, what does it mean to you? Come on, listen to me. What does that mean to you? To put off the... Do you think of that as, oh, I did that in 1975 when I got saved? Is that what you... No. Did you do it this morning? You're all dressed. Congratulations. You got dressed this morning. You're here. We're all dressed. That's good. But when you got up this morning, did you put on yesterday's clothes? Or did you put on today's clothes? I've actually done that before. I think I may have done it one day this week. I was so tired, I just put on what I had on the day before. You cannot do that. You cannot do that in Christ Jesus. You have to say, Lord, what do I need for today? I can't wear yesterday's clothes. What do you need to dress me in today? And you put off the old and you put on the new. If you can do that in the middle of every trial that you have, God will make something wonderful. He will surprise you what He brings out of it. If when trouble comes, instead of saying, oh, here I go again, why can't I get ahead? What is wrong with me? Where are you, God? Don't go down there. It's futile. It's a colossal waste of time.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
And I made a decision. It was a little more than 20 years ago. It was in the late 90s. And I made a decision that I would never be discouraged again. There were so many discouraging things happening to us in our health and our finances. And I made a decision one day that I couldn't control all of that, but I could control me.
Yes, yes.
And I thought, I am never going to be, this is empowering. I am never going to be discouraged again. And now when those emotions start calling, because circumstances happen, life, I don't live in a daisy patch. I have a lot of people in my life. There's a lot of opportunities every day to be disappointed, failed, hurt, to suffer. But every time it comes now, I get busy serving others. I turn it around and try to find something good in it. I decide that I've got an audience of one, and that if I bless when I'm cursed, He will smile upon my life, and then watch. Just let them watch what He's going to do to me. Open doors for me. Right. And in my greatest places of suffering, if I will take off the old, take off that suffering mentality, and put on the new, everybody thinks I'm brand new. They don't see suffering. They don't see that. If they see you walking around and you're how are you doing? Well, I don't know, glory to God. It's so hard. I'm stressed but blessed. I mean, who wants to hire that? Who wants to be married to that?
Yeah, come on, yeah.
But if you say, I am not what I am going to be. Yeah. But this I know. I'm laying this down and I'm reaching forward for what lies ahead.
Come on, amen.
I'm putting off the old. I'm putting on the new. Yesterday's suffering clothes don't fit anymore. I am taking on the new. Who wouldn't want a new wardrobe, right? What a great time we had in Wolverhampton, reminding the people of Rhema Faith Church to put off the old and put on the new. And what a great time we've had here in London. I love this city. And it is a city that has survived so many years. It is in a constant state of restoration. But can't the same be said for you and for me? It's so important for us to remember to take off the old and put on the new. And so I want you to think of some things this week you can do in your body to do something new, and in your emotions to get rid of an old mindset and bring on a new, and then in your spirit to ask God to help you get out of any spiritual ruts that you're in. Find something new in Him that He wants to inspire you with. So taking off the old, putting on the new, body, mind, and spirit this week. And next week, we are coming to you from Wales. You do not want to miss it. It's part 2 of our series here from the United Kingdom. And so I will see you then. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, everybody, and I'll see you next time on The Three.